What's up, y'all? It's your friendly neighborhood commentator, DreadSilver, and it's an honor to be posting on TheFullHouseEnt. Like, this channel is made by a group of guys who I feel like I'm pretty cool with, you know? Like, QJB and Air Jones are people who have told me in the past that if I really needed something, I could just hit them up and they'd help me out, like, in a second, in a heartbeat. And K Spade and Earn is people I've been supporting for a while. QJB introduced me to Earn, and my friend, a weird creeper guy, has always been raving about K Spade as soon as I started commentating. So I fell in love with his, the storytelling he can do on his channel. Probably the best storyteller on YouTube when it comes to my player. And when it comes to crew mode, you know I used to study his videos hardcore, trying to get better in crew with Creeper. But this is my Houston Rockets association. You see, it's a little different than the actual Houston Rockets team. I just started off. I try to keep a couple core players. Originally, Jeremy Lin, Jeremy Lamb, Kevin Martin, and I wanted to add some players that made it a more nostalgic team. Like, I tried to bring on Trevor Ariza and Aaron Brooks to make it more like how the Rockets used to be, or in the past how the Rockets had great players like that. I also added on Terrence Williams. But in my last video, I ended up getting rid of Kevin Martin and a second-round pick to pick up James Harden and Daquan Cook, which was a pretty good trade to me, especially since it's better than one in real life. And I got to get James Harden on this Houston Rockets team. I didn't think it'd be so easy, you know. And everyone was telling me to get him, and I really wasn't for it until James Harden broke out, and you just had to, you know what I'm saying? And you see me already coming off of that alley-oop. Early on in the first quarter, I'm already doing alley-oops with Jason Thompson. That's not even my alley-oop, man. He's probably one of the lesser athletic players on the floor right now. And DeRozan is ridiculous from mid-range in this game. It's surprising how ridiculous he is, because the commentators keep saying that DeRozan needs to work on his mid-range game. He'd be such a great player if he had a great mid-range, and he's just known as, like, I guess more of a slasher. Maybe because I'm not a Toronto Raptors fan. You know, Toronto Raptors fans hit me up, tell me if DeRozan's really that good at mid-range, because he was killing me from mid-range. No one could stop him. And I get a nice up and under with James Harden right there. Probably my most reliable player on my team. And you see me trying to guard this guy hardcore, and I try to use my hands up defense at the last second because he's on the three-point line. I know he's going to take the shot, but my hands don't go up. I guess he just reaches for the ball when I do that hands up defense thing. So that's just a heads up if y'all try to do hands up at the last second. He's going to go reach for it, I guess. But I was just frustrated that he hit that three in my face, and I come right back at him with Aaron Brooks. Aaron Brooks is I like him a lot in this game, you know. He gets blocked and stuff like that. And Jeremy Lin with a nice slash right there. But Aaron Brooks is pretty nice. He hits that three-pointer like crazy. But his attitude's awful on this team. Like, he doesn't want to be here. And you see Jeremy Lamb. I'm showing off the handles of Jeremy Lamb with the step-back fadeaway jumper, and I knocked that down. But Aaron Brooks doesn't want to be on my team. His rating's going down because he's not getting the minutes he's accustomed to, I guess, in China. You know, I mean, when you're the best on the team in China, of course, you're going to be playing a crazy amount of minutes. And I get a nice, easy and one play with Jeremy Lamb. That was a nice little dunk right there. And so I might have to trade Aaron Brooks. And that's the same thing that's happening with Trevor Ariza. On my team, Aaron Brooks and Trevor Ariza are usually bench players. So it's kind of frustrating to have such great players in your team that don't want to play for you just because they're not accustomed to the starting roles that they usually have. And if their ratings go down any farther, they're not going to really help you at all. So getting back into it, Linus Clays was hurting me a little bit. He was probably the second best scorer, but I get the block on him right there. He tries to shoot it again in my face, and I'm coming back down with Jeremy Lamb once again. Look at him hanging on the rim right there. I love how he just gets him with that rim hang at the end. That's a pretty nice addition that 2K added from 2K12. And on an unrelated note, real quick, I gotta plug my man Gameplay FNS. I mean, he made my background on my channel. He made my YouTube outro, and I keep forgetting to hit him up in a video, you know, thanking him for that. So I mean, if you get a chance, go check it out. It's pretty awesome. And I get a nice little alley-oop from Aaron Brooks and Tyson Chandler. I don't know what's up with Tyson Chandler this year. It's harder to get him to get alley-oops. It's like his offensive awareness is lower, and that's what I'm talking about. Linus Clays hitting that three on me. I think I had to play tight on him a little bit later in this game. I had to change my defensive settings because he was just destroying me. And Aaron Brooks gets a nice Euro. So that's what I'm talking about. His ability to drive in the lane when there's not like 3 or 4 people in there. And those alley-oops are really frustrating me. Those standing dunk alley-oops. Because in real life, who do you see doing those alley-oops? like Dwight Howard, right? Blake Griffin. But you got DeRozan doing it on Jeremy Lamb. I mean, I feel like they got to chill out a little bit with that. But I mean, it was a nice alley-oop. If I could do it, I would do the same thing, you know? So I try to do a pick and roll with Jeremy Lamb, but it ends up with Terrence Williams getting a loose ball, getting a nice dunk on him right there. I love it when they lean into these dunks like crazy. Jeremy Lamb and Terrence Williams love to lean like that in these dunks. And I just want to develop Jeremy Lamb a little bit as a dunker because his slashing ability is pretty good, and his mid-range is all pretty much one of the best on my team. And check DeRozan just throwing the ball up there from mid-range. I'm just what I'm talking about, y'all. He just throws the ball up there. Doesn't matter how much traffic is there. He will always make that mid-range bucket. The only way to stop him is by blocking him. And James Harden's wide open. That's wet. That's always wet when James Harden's wide open on the three-point line. And that's my favorite three-point play right there. And Jeremy Lin, another person who can drive the lane to perfection. I was surprised how well he can drive in traffic and the steals he gets. Like, I'm right there. That's what I'm talking about, the steals he gets. But I get stopped, so I throw the alley-oop to my boy James Harden. Like, why not, you know? And James Harden's going to always finish something like that. And I think after this game, I mean, by the end of this game, I want to try to get everybody on my starting lineup an alley-oop besides, you know, my point guard. And check James Harden with the behind the back to the tomahawk, man. He goes behind the back to the right hand and tomahawks with his left hand. His dunks aren't even really the flashiest, but his tomahawks pump me up so much. So, getting back into it, end of the second quarter, he's trying to drain a two in my face. Not happening unless it was DeRozan. And you see the 2-on-1 right there, so I have to throw another alley-oop. I end up seeing it's Daquan Cook. I thought it was Jeremy Lamb, so no wonder he misses alley-oop. So I get another chance from the rebound. Daquan Cook gets his bucket back. I respect him for that. And I get a nice, easy layup with James Harden right there. And he goes on fire before the quarter ends. So, I mean, my team's pretty awesome, I think, right now. You know, I got Jeremy Lin, James Harden, Trevor Ariza, who I'm probably going to trade right when he gets that block right there and goes coast to coast. But yeah, because of his frustration on the bench, I'm probably going to trade him. I got Jason Thompson, one of the best offensive rebounders in the league, because I've been raising that. And he was already a great offensive rebounder. And DeRozan gets a nice layup on me. Can't really stop that. And Tyson Chandler with Aaron Brooks, Jeremy Lamb. Who else on the bench? Terrence Williams. I changed Terrence Williams and Trevor Ariza time after time, but at this point I start struggling a little bit, you know. I start to go on a little scoring drought and start making mistakes right here. Not even mistakes, just stuff starts to go wrong. I get stripped by Kyle Lowry. You see Aaron Brooks frustrated trying to take the ball away from him. Kyle Lowry and Aaron Brooks probably hate each other, honestly. I think so. After when Aaron Brooks left the Houston Rockets and Kyle Lowry became the new starting point guard, and you saw once again DeRozan just hit another shot right in my face, but I'm going to get him right back with the fadeaway jumper by Aaron Brooks. That is too wet right there. And y'all are tired of hearing me say it, but DeRozan can't miss. And look at him fist pump, roll off the ground and fist pump right here. This is really adding insult to injury right now. He's making me mad. So, I mean, at the end of the game, if I'm winning, don't think I'm just going to call mercy rule and stop. You know, I'm going to keep going and try to get these buckets, as many as I can. And I get a nice steal on Royce White, the guy I traded over here. And I get an alley-oop with Terrence Williams with the double pump. Look at that, he brings it under both of his legs for the alley-oop finish. That was I don't even know what kind of alley-oop that was. I say a double pump reverse alley-oop, which was pretty crazy. But like I said, yeah, I traded Royce White for Amir Johnson. I made a couple trades. You got to check it out in my original association creation video. But Royce White gets me right back with the tomahawk right there. A lot of people were upset that I traded him because he might have been a breakout rookie too. And James Harden hits him with a turnaround fadeaway. Usually when I'm about to shoot that fadeaway on accident, I would just stop it immediately, but it's James Harden. He's been going crazy all game, so I just let him have it, and he knocks it down. And DeRozan's open once again, and I get lucky that he actually misses this layup. That's the first, you know? So I'm coming back down with Jeremy Lin. Hit him with the Euro step. It's too easy with Jeremy Lin out here. I don't even know how buckets like that go in. So I'm running my favorite three-point play again, but I use the option where I give it to Trevor Ariza instead. Try to get a high percentage shot in the lane as I pass it to Tyson Chandler. Easy bucket right there. I usually don't get Tyson Chandler the ball a lot, but I mean, sometimes when he's open like that, you got to give him the easy dunk right there. I think it's because a lot of time you try to pass it in close to your big men, it gets easily stolen no matter who's, you know, making the pass. And I try to just posterize Damian James. That isn't happening. Like, you hear the commentator getting mad at me saying this is not the dunk contest, but you know, you got to try sometimes, right? Especially when you're especially when you're up a little bit. But it still leads to a DeRozan shot right in my face, and you know, I just gotta take that. The tactic for the other team at this point was just get the ball down the court and just pass it to DeRozan. Like, they just stopped passing to all players, and Terrence Williams is wide open at three-point line as they're clogging the lane, so I pass it to him for the assist, get that easy bucket right there, get another steal with Jeremy Lin, and I try to get too fancy right here, throwing the ball behind my back to a trailing Terrence Williams, but I mean, I just love trying stuff like that whenever I'm up. You know, the reason why I lose games in this whenever I'm playing on difficulties like Superstar is not usually because I get outplayed. It's because whenever I'm up, I try to get too fancy, and that's not what you want to do if you're trying to win these games. And check me out with Jeremy Lin with a double step back jumper on the power forward or center. I don't even know who it was, but that's what I'm talking about, being fancy. Sometimes it works out in your favor, and I get a nice three-pointer with Jeremy Lin. So I'm trying to get in the lane again. It's not really happening. So I just try a sky hook. I noticed that these sky hooks and like some of these more crazier shots that weren't working in 2K12 work in 2K13, and it's pretty cool. So I get a nice bucket like that, and DeRozan just comes right back at me with another step back jumper. And at this point, they're pressing me. So I mean, what am I gonna do? Drive down the lane, throw an alley-oop? I got it. As soon as they start pressing, you just push the ball down the court, and you're gonna get easy buckets like that. They're not even playing defense for real. And I try to get a nice pick and roll with Jeremy Lin, and then they leave me wide open for the Jeremy Lin fadeaway. His mid-range is nasty. That shot is too wet, and they leave him open. And the only way to stop DeRozan is by blocking him. You can't stop his jump shot. You have to block it. And watch me with this crazy behind-the-back alley to James Harden. Jeremy Lin pretty much throws that from out of bounds, and James Harden just dunks on 2 or 3 players right there. I love this backcourt of this team, man. I love it when I put these teams together, I have to put down teams that are super athletic and have great defensive big men, and I throw another alley-oop to James Harden just because I did not say I was going to try to get an alley-oop to everybody on this team. I have to, and I get a nice spin move with Trevor Ariza, and they do a goaltending call on me, but I get the bucket right there. But about this time, the game's pretty much over, you know. I'm up by 15 at this point. I put in my bench, and like I said, I am not going to show any mercy. I can't, because DeRozan was killing me too bad, so I got a dunk on him with Terrence Williams. This is the dunk he missed earlier, the posterizer he missed, but he got it back the second time around. And that's about it, y'all. James Harden and Jeremy Lin went crazy. Jeremy Lin went crazy, even though I forced a lot of shots with him, but he got his buckets. Terrence Williams really stepped up from the bench. Aaron Brooks stepped up. My whole bench went crazy. Jason Thompson got 17 boards. But that's about it, y'all. I want to thank TheFullHouseEnt, and if you like what you see, please check out my channel. And it's your friendly neighborhood commentator, DreadSilver. Peace, y'all.
Mamacita, I said Mamacita, you look like Mona Lisa. Was I supposed to meet ya? What she said? She said, yeah.